Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. As you know, if you saw my last video, I went from a 505 to a 513 on my MCAT. So this video is going to be talking about just kind of what I used to study, both the first and the second time around, lessons learned, how you could potentially save some money, and also just some study tool recommendations that I have for you. So let's go ahead and jump right on into it. Okay, so the first time that I studied for the MCAT, I only studied for about a month and a half, which I definitely don't recommend, but I feel like it is essential to kind of talk about what I did study during this time, just because it did overall contribute to like what I learned from taking this test and just kind of what helped me to succeed long term. So here I have the MCAT Complete 7-Book Subject Review. So I actually borrowed my friend's, and it was a couple years older than these, but at the end of the day, it's all kind of the same information. So it has 7 books in it, just like it says, and they each cover a different topic or section of the MCAT. So just for kind of getting like a base review of all of these subjects, I kind of would recommend the books. They are very time consuming, and I do think that I can save you time. So, continue to watch the rest of the video, but, if you have never taken some of these courses before or just feel like it's been a really long time since you have taken those courses, these books can help you get like a decent foundation. So that's what I use for my initial, topic review. And it does come with 3 practice tests in this bundle. I actually borrowed these books from a friend, so I didn't take the practice test that came with the books, but if you do buy your own books, that is an option. But again, just kind of be aware if you do like rent these books or you buy them secondhand, those practice tests, you need like an access code, and so if someone's already used the access code, you will not be able to access those tests. So just be aware. Okay, and the other resource that I used to study for the MCAT the first time was the Kaplan Gold Pack, the Gold Bundle. I have it here on the screen. It does come with 3 full-length practice tests, which I believe are the same practice tests you would get with that 7-book bundle, so just be aware of that. But it did come with 3 full-length practice tests, took those. And it also came with a 3,000 question Q bank with the ability to customize quizzes. So initially that was like really attractive to me, and that was part of the reason that I bought this bundle. But I will say I mostly used the bundle for the practice tests. I didn't use the Q bank probably as well as I could have. I only did just a couple of questions from it. So at the end of the day, I really would not recommend buying this practice bundle, just because A, if you already bought the 7-book review, you get 3 full-length practice tests. So you don't really need this. And the Q bank is just kind of okay. I don't really feel like the questions reflect the actual MCAT very well, so wouldn't recommend this. But if you do want to get the 7-book bundle, it's okay. I definitely don't think it's a must buy, and I will tell you why. So after I took my first MCAT and got my 505, I really kind of was in a slump, right? And so I started looking to the internet for, other resources that people used, how they studied, just because I did want to increase my score. Which if you haven't taken the MCAT yet and, you're kind of using this as a study guide, do all of these things, okay? Don't take the test one time and then, start doing this stuff. Do all of it, as soon as you can implement it into kind of your routine. So I found this Reddit page, this Reddit forum called r-mcat. I found a lot of good resources on it, but it can freak you out just because you do see people posting a lot like, oh, I only got a 522, and it's like, dude, come on, whatever. But anyways, I found this post that I found really inspirational. I'm not going to read it all here because, as you can see, it is quite long. But if you can find this post on Reddit, I would definitely recommend doing that. just because it gave me a lot of insight, it gave me a lot of resources, and some of those I am going to share with you now, but there is stuff on here that I didn't do. Like, I think, I didn't really read through this before recording the video, my bad, but I think that they do reference things like UWorld, which I didn't use. So, you know, I think this person gave very good tips, is all I'm saying. And one thing I took from their tips was to use the Khan Academy resources. So before I told you that I don't think you necessarily have to buy anything, and I still stand by that statement. And this Khan Academy resource is why. So I think the thing that was, well, not the thing that was the most crucial, but one of the most crucial things in my studying the second time around was this prep resource. Before, it was actually going to go away, I think in 2021 in September, but people signed a petition to keep it around, and it looks like it's here to stay. So luckily I can share this resource with you. So here, all completely for free, they have practice passages for cars, for the biochem section, for the chem phys section, and for the psychology sociology section. I 100,000% recommend doing these because the passages are pretty short. They're a lot shorter than they will be on the actual MCAT. But as for like complexity, I think they have some like really good passages that reflect the complexity of the actual passages on the test. And something that I found that I struggled with the first time I took the MCAT was like navigating the really dense, complex language of the passages. So that being said, I did a lot of these passages. I'm trying to think. I think I did like 2 passages a day when I could. Maybe I did 2 passages like 3 days of the week, if that makes sense. But I really did just try to like go through and read these without like panicking, right? I was like trying to train myself to be able to read through these passages in like a calm, you know, coherent manner. So these were definitely good resources. I'll just click on some. It's not showing like the progress that I made on these, but I promise you I did do these. Like if you click practice, you know, it'll show you, you know, a good passage with some figures in them, which again is really important. You will have to analyze figures on the actual MCAT. And then, you know, it has just like a bunch of questions about the content that you read. And yeah, just a extremely valuable resource. Please, please, please do these. It's completely free and, you know, it'll only benefit you. So in addition to the practice passages, they also have videos on all of these subjects. Okay, so you see biomolecules, you think, oh, amino acids and proteins, is that just one video? No, they have a ton of videos broken up into little sections. And so I know that this can seem quite overwhelming, but I really, 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 really strongly recommend watching all of these videos if you can. But if you find yourself in a crunch and you're like, okay, I just really suck at XYZ topic, watch the videos on that topic, okay? And don't just watch the videos. You know, if you go to class and you just listen to the professor talk at you, you're not going to understand what's going on. Take notes on these videos and then go back and review the content that you learned. Review, review, review. I'll go ahead and show you here. I have a big, thick, chunky MCAT study buddy here. And these are all notes that I've either taken on the Kaplan books or taken on the Khan Academy videos. Can't recommend it enough, honestly. It's like the best free resource in the world. And based on, you know, that information, stuff that I found really important or to be like a really important topic on the MCAT, I made flashcards on it. I have an organ systems deck, biology biochem deck, equations deck, because you will need to know a good chunk of equations, a psych sociology deck, amino acid deck. I mean, I just have all kinds of decks in here. So again, really valuable resource. Please check it out. If I could go back and tell myself one thing before I took the first MCAT, it would be to do this. Well, actually, I would tell myself to do 2 things. The next thing I'm going to mention now. So, I jumped ahead of myself a bit here, but there is a way to do this completely free. So of course the Khan Academy resources are free, but also before you buy any kind of resource, check out this fee assistance program and see if you qualify. Because if you do, you get all of the sample AAMC official tests completely for free. And you also get, I know for sure whenever you're applying for medical schools, you can apply for 20 medical schools for free on your primary application. Then for your secondary applications, you don't have to pay for those either. And so you are literally saving yourself thousands of dollars by doing this. So be a friend to yourself, see if you qualify for this program, because yeah, it'll help you out with prepping for the MCAT and then applying. Okay, Julia from the future here. I actually realized that there were two really important benefits of the fee assistance program that I didn't mention during the main video, so I'd like to talk about them now. One of those really important benefits is the reduced MCAT fee. So instead of the usual $325 fee for the test, you actually only pay $130. So I would definitely recommend it, honestly, even solely for this purpose. I can't believe I forgot to mention this. But the other thing is the medical school admission requirements, or the MSAR. So I didn't know about this prior to actually applying for medical school, but the MSAR is a database that has all kinds of data for all of the medical schools in the United States, and I think some in Canada as well. It's really good for kind of like gauging where you're at compared to, you know, say the typical applicant for certain schools. So yeah, I also recommend the fee assistance program for this benefit. So I'll let you continue on with the video, but I just wanted to let you know about all of this. Okay. So yes, there's also a free AAMC official MCAT prep test. It simulates MCAT test. Not much else I can say about that, I guess. I will say this free sample test isn't weighted, which means that you don't get a score. Like, it won't tell you you made a 505 or a 507, but it will tell you how many questions you got correct, like out of each section. And I think there was a MCAT conversion, like Excel, Google spreadsheet somewhere online. Just Google it, you'll find it. So this is still a really good resource. However, if you are able to afford it, I would suggest getting every single AAMC practice test that they have available. So you can see here, test 1, test 2, I think there are 4, if I remember correctly, plus the sample. So you will have an abundance of these practice tests. If I could stress anything to you right now, watching this video, take these tests before you take any other tests. I don't care if you did pay for the Kaplan Gold bundle or if you did get those 3 full-length Kaplan tests with your 7-book set. If you don't have time to take both the Kaplan test and the AAMC, please just take the AAMC. It's the practice test from the official test givers. So why would you not actually take those exams? Because those reflect the actual material of the MCAT the most. So let me tell you the difference that I found when I took these tests versus the Kaplan ones. And this is my personal experience. I know there are people who did take only the Kaplan ones and they still succeeded on the MCAT, but I will say, I think those people who did that could have done even better if they just took the AAMC tests. I found that, especially on the biology, biochemistry section, the Kaplan tests weren't very reflective of the actual material. I didn't find the passages to be as dense or complex as the actual MCAT was. Additionally, the figures weren't very complicated to figure out like they are in the actual MCAT. So at the end of the day, please just take the AAMC official tests. By taking them, you not only get a feel for the real MCAT, but you can also actually see the types of questions that will be reflected on the MCAT. Like, there are several types of questions that are kind of repeated throughout these practice tests. And if you take these and you study them and you really figure out like how to do like the questions that they ask you, you will find these patterns, and those are reflected on the real MCAT. So if you're using a certain equation a lot on like the say the Phys Chem section, you will probably use it on your real MCAT on test day. The Kaplan test will not reflect that for you. So please take these words and like just let them sink in and just listen to them, okay? This is what I would tell myself if I could go back in time and time travel. So I think I've ranted enough about the official AAMC practice tests, but take them all, study them, questions you got right and questions that you got wrong, and, you know, write notes on them, practice as much as you can. Before I forget, I also would recommend while you're studying to get one of these bad boys. So on your actual MCAT test day, they don't give you a pen and paper. They give you like this legal pad type thing, and it's dry erase. And I will say it takes some getting used to. You have quite a few pages. It looks like you have 10 in this. Well, actually really 9, because one of the pages is like the rules. But on actual test day, I don't think you're technically supposed to erase anything that you write at all. So just get used to writing on this. I think I also bought like some dry erase fine tip markers, because they are the actual kind that you will use on your test day. So I would suggest buying this stuff just to get used to writing with it, to get used to taking your test with it, because on test day you want to be as relaxed and feel as prepared as you can. And even something as small as like writing with something you aren't accustomed to, that can like kind of mess you up, especially say if you're like left-handed. You don't want to be erasing your notes the whole time. Like, you want to get used to it. So yep, can't recommend that enough either. And then let's see what else. I think this last thing that I have for you guys is sorry if I'm saying this wrong, Shimasian Counseling. Their website has some really good resources as well, because they do MCAT tutoring, but they have some free like tips for you guys. For me, on my first MCAT, my lowest scores were in biology and biochemistry, and part of it was because I will especially say with the Kaplan, wasn't aware of certain like say sorts of tests that they would ask you about. I wasn't familiar with like the highlights of certain pathways, but you know, here they have like MCAT, biochemistry, everything you need to know. And I think they have these for like every topic. So say your strong suit isn't physics, I think they have a MCAT physics, everything you need to know. And it's just like an overview. So let me scroll down a bit. Oh no, I keep doing this. Let's say biochemistry lab techniques. You're like, which of those might I need to know? You can just kind of scroll down and they have all the ones you need to know. Spoiler alert, on one of my tests, I guess I can't technically tell you, I didn't know, I think, what a Western blot was. I think I knew what a Southern and a Northern were, but I was like, I don't know what a Western does. So of course I wasn't going to select it, and I'm pretty sure that was probably the right answer. So this can also be a really helpful tool for you, because you can go, okay, while I'm studying, I need to make sure that I learn about these things. And yeah, and just kind of like to wrap things up, actually, hang on, I'll make myself full screen. Be right back. Okay, so before I go, I just want to say that you are going to constantly feel like you are running into things that you don't know while you're studying and while you're taking your AAMC full-length practice tests. This is just all part of the process. Part of it is that the MCAT test makers want to throw hard information at you to see how either you kind of like logically work it out, or to see how in depth you studied a topic. There's going to be hard information, and you're going to feel like you can't ever win. I remember when I was taking my practice tests, it felt like as I took my tests, I was going down in score. And that felt not the best, okay? I'm gonna be honest. But at the end of the day, all of that made me stronger because I did learn that information that I didn't know previously, and it helped me do really well on my retake. I went up 8 points. So just know it's all part of the process. You can do it. Just put your head down and persevere, and you're gonna do great. Just take these tips that I've given you and do your best, and I'm sure you'll do amazing. So best of luck to you on taking your test. Please let me know down in the comments, any questions that you may have, or just drop other study materials as well if you have taken the MCAT or retaken it and done well. So I will also put all of the links to all of the things that I mentioned down in the description box. Good luck to you on your test, and I know you're going to do amazing. All right, bye everyone.